Okay, here we are with next month's recipe. So I will be the first and certainly not the last to admit that I am no chef. I am not very good at cutting up vegetables. I am not very good at cutting up little garlic things. If you would have seen it, I mean, that's the reason why we didn't tape it, because it's just a hot mess. So, but whatever. I don't need to be a good chef. I'm here to teach you guys how to make things. So make healthy choices, good combinations. It doesn't really matter about presentation. We're not in a restaurant. This is going on your plate and then in your mouth within seconds. So who cares what it looks like? All right. So basically what we're going to do today is we're going to make either a dinner or a lunch. So you guys all know how much I love Trader Joe's, just for the sheer fact of organic, and they usually have everything that's like low sodium. We don't really have anything low sodium today that we needed. So what we have is organic free-range chicken. So basically I already have it cut up. So what you want to do is they're little chicken tenders or tenderloins, and I've cut them into strips. Because what we're going to do is we're going to make almost like a stir fry. You can have it for dinner, and you could add in even more vegetables. So if you wanted to add in more string beans or broccoli or something like that, you can. However, if you wanted to have it for lunch, they have whole wheat tortillas. This is an actual serving of a tortilla. So what we're going to make is one serving with all these things. This is not with any extra vegetables, and it's probably going to be about 10 to 14 grams of carbs. And then if you go ahead and you add this in, this is about 20. So maybe have a little bit less of the vegetables. So you really only add up to about 30 if you're going to have this with lunch. Or maybe pull off one of the corners of it, whatever. But basically, that would be your lunch. You wouldn't have the tortilla if you were having it with dinner. You could add some more fibrous vegetables. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start and put our pan on medium to high. We're going to get our spray pan, because we don't want to add any additional fat to this. So for one serving of this, which is probably about 3 ounces of the chicken, and then we're going to cut this up. So this is about 1.5 pounds of chicken. One whole, like, big green pepper. This is about a medium-sized onion, and then they say the recipe calls for like a half of a tablespoon, so it's about 2 cloves of garlic, and then we have our ground cumin, and then we have our mild salsa. So what I've done is, we don't want it, now this is going to be about 4 grams of fat, just sheerly from the chicken, even though it's lean chicken and chicken breast. So we're going to not add any more fat to this. So what I'm going to do is I just heated up my pan. So what we're going to do is we're going to take all the chicken in their little strips, and we might not be able to get, depends on how big your pan is, because I want them to be able to cook consistently. I don't want to pile it up. So the recipe also calls for about 1 pound, a little over 1 pound. And again, it's going to be, this whole thing, if you add 1 pound of chicken and all the serving sizes that I just mentioned, this will make about 4 or 5 servings. Like 6 servings if you add 1.5 pounds, 6 or 7. Okay. So we got a little bit more. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait for this to cook. We're going to add our 1 teaspoon of our ground cumin. Sprinkle it on top. Now, it's going to take a couple minutes. So once we add in the vegetables, that's going to be easy. So it's going to be, it's really just going to be waiting for them to simmer. We're going to cover it, and I'll show you that. So while we wait for this to cook, we're going to freeze frame like we usually do. I'm going to start stirring these up. And then as soon as they get where there's no pink on them, then we know they're pretty, where we can't see any pink. They might be slightly undercooked where it's a little pink on the inside. Then we add our vegetables so it doesn't overcook, because we are going to cook it for another 10 minutes altogether. So we'll freeze frame, and you'll see me in not even a second. So it's been 2 seconds. So, not really. Actually, it's been probably about 5-6 minutes maybe of me tossing it. So now it's nice and thick. You can see all the seasoning on it. And I lowered the heat down to about in between medium. Well, yeah, about medium. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take the rest of our stuff. So we're going to take our onions, sprinkle them. Okay. We're going to take our tiny little bit of not very greatly cut up garlic, Chef Jim. Then we're going to take our not very cut up grate peppers right here. And then we are going to take 3/4 of a cup, but I have 1/4 of a cup right here. So I'm going to obviously fill it up 3 times. Okay, so let's say it's a little bit more than 1. So then we'll do a little bit less in the second, and then a third. So thick and chunky salsa. And this is from Trader Joe's. Mild. Okay, we're going to mix it all up, and then we're going to cover it and let it simmer until the peppers and the onions and everything are soft. Ooh, this looks good. I mean, and you could eat this like this. From the tomatoes, you are going to get a little extra carbs. So if you're putting this in a wrap, okay, so I'm going to cover it right now. If you're putting this in a wrap, so we were talking about stats and numbers before. If you're putting it in a wrap, you're not going to fully have like 3 ounces because it's going to be hard to fill that in. So maybe you could have like a couple of the strips of it, so it's about 2 ounces of chicken, and you're not going to be able to fit that much of this inside a tortilla. So maybe it will only be 10. Because remember, tomatoes are considered like a fruit. Onions are a little sweeter, so they do have a little bit more carbs than the peppers do. But ultimately, I mean, there's only so much you're going to be able to fit into this little bit. So maybe the whole thing with that little bit of extra vegetables that you're getting in there is going to still add up to your 30, and then you're good. So we're going to freeze frame again for 10 minutes, because you don't need to stand here and watch me twiddle my thumbs for 10 minutes. So we'll be back in a second. Okay, it's been 10 minutes. So, it's been 10 minutes. So, we are done. So, I'm going to shut this off since we're done. Open it up. Woo! Look at all those juices. Come in and come look at the onions. How they're nice and clear and cooked. And you got some of the juices from the salsa. And the chicken's nice. You can tell. It's nice and juicy. Doesn't look dry at all. So basically, what you would do, and I got my little spoon with the holes in it, so you don't get a lot of juice. Go right here. Okay. So that is maybe a little bit bigger than a serving. Okay. You go ahead and you open up your tortilla right here. You would put probably a little bit less than that. That would be a perfect little lunch. Okay? Now, if you wanted to, you could have that, whatever, the remaining of it, so you would eat that with one of the tortillas. You could maybe pick on a couple little extra pieces of chicken because it's going to be hard to fill a full serving of protein. And you don't want to have only like 10 grams of protein for your 30 grams of carbs. You want them to be balanced. So do what you can to fit in here. This is a good amount of vegetables. This is probably no more than 10 grams of carbs right here with your 20, so you're good. So I hope you like this one. This looks phenomenal. And let me know what you think. Let me know how it came out with you. If you had it with some vegetables or a salad on the side for dinner, or if you had it for lunch. And look forward to next month's recipe.